Super Mario 3D World is a game that I love entirely too much. I credit it for getting me back into Nintendo because during the Wii and DS era of Nintendo, I was a huge fan, but then I just kind of fell out because I didn't really, I don't know, it's not that I disliked the company or anything, I just kind of stopped following them, and I didn't even know the Wii U was a thing thanks to terrible marketing, despite the fact I was probably one of the main demographics that Nintendo was trying to appeal to. So when I went over to my friend's house and saw this game that he described as a mix between New Super Mario Bros. And Mario Galaxy, two of my favorite games at the time, I was hooked. Super Mario 3D World is one of my favorite games of all time, and it gets hated on way too much by way too many people, but I seriously think that it is an incredible game, but that is not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is what happens when a game that I love so much just gets absolutely memed on by Nintendo. Those of you who aren't huge 3D World fans might not have noticed it or probably didn't notice it recently, but there have just been a ton of trolls by Nintendo essentially, trolling everyone who wants a 3D World port. And I'm gonna get into that right now. What's going on, guys? It's Thomas from the Switch Shop, and this is the 3D World dilemma. Now, before we get into it, I know there are going to be people who are fans of the Mother series and F-Zero and other franchises that have been left dormant for much longer than, obviously, Mario. It's not like I'm not getting any new Mario games, it's just this one game isn't being ported. So I know there are people who have been suffering for way longer than I have. However, this situation is a bit special because Nintendo is completely acknowledging this game, whereas they wouldn't acknowledge Mother 3 for the longest time and haven't really acknowledged F-Zero forever. They're completely acknowledging 3D World as a whole, but not doing anything about it. So if you're not a 3D World fan, you're probably like, okay, well, what is this? Like, how have they been acknowledging it? And maybe you've already noticed the most recent acknowledgement, which was really big. They actually put it in as a style in Super Mario Maker. Now, why is this big? Well, first of all, why would this even go in there? Like, that makes no sense. 3D World is essentially a dead game, unless they do choose to port it, which at the time of recording this video, they haven't announced anything. We just had the February Direct, which didn't have it. So I'm working under the assumption that they're not porting it right now. And if they announce something later, I guess this video will be pointless. But yeah, why advertise 3D World? Not only is it an older game than, say, Odyssey, but Odyssey sold more units and is actually alive, whereas 3D World is a dead game on a dead system, pretty much. No one is going to buy Super Mario 3D World in the modern day, whereas Super Mario Odyssey, I believe, is still the best-selling Switch game of all time. It'll probably soon be overtaken by Smash Bros., but regardless, it's sold insanely well. Mario Odyssey is an absolutely incredible selling game. It's an amazing game, obviously, don't get me wrong, but it just seems weird that 3D World would get the Mario Maker theme over Odyssey. And while, yeah, Super Mario 3D World is a lot more linear and is way closer to 2D Mario, that doesn't really matter, because it's not like they're porting over any gameplay aspects besides, like, power-ups and stuff. They're only porting over the art style. And you can't say that Odyssey's art style wouldn't work because Odyssey's gimmick of throwing Cappy is too weird, but there are honestly so many 3D World elements that are also just as weird. Like, there is no power-up like the cat suit, and if you can use that to break things and also do your cat dive and cat momentum and all that, that is just as unique as using Cappy. Nintendo could have 100% made a Mario Odyssey theme work, but they didn't. They went with 3D World, a dead game on a dead system. Why would you want to advertise that? However, everyone already knows about that one. What's the other reasons? What am I talking about? Well, there's one other big reason, but before we get into that, I'll just want to mention a couple small things. In Mario Odyssey, a game we've already mentioned, there are countless nods to 3D World, as in the small little 8-bit pixelated cat Marios found throughout that game. I don't know why they're there, but they're there. However, the bigger reason, and kind of one of the reasons I'm making this video, is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Now think about this. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a game made by the same development staff that made 3D World, and it is a spin-off of that game, and it uses the same engine. So tell me why a spin-off of Super Mario 3D World, a less successful spin-off, by the way, it's not like this game sold better than 3D World, it didn't, Tell me why a spin-off for 3D World using the same engine was ported over before Super Mario 3D World. That's just it's just weird to think about, especially considering Mario 3D World would have definitely made Nintendo more of a profit, considering it is more expensive. Mario is more of a household name than Toad. While they did just add in Captain Toad multiplayer functionality, multiplayer is built into 3D World, so that would have sold more units that way. But hold on for a sec, let's talk about that. Multiplayer in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. That's actually part of the new content update called the Special Episode. Not only that, but when the game launched, they replaced the Super Mario 3D World levels with Mario Odyssey themed ones. So you mean to tell me that the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker team, which is more or less comprised of the same people who made 3D World, using the exact same engine, is still alive, and they even added in not only new content when the game launched, but they're continuously making and have been making new content for this game? They are adding in DLC for a port of a spin-off title of a game before porting over the game that the spin-off was even based off of. What does this not rub anyone off as so weird? I don't know why Nintendo's doing this. They have been doing so many things related to 3D World, but not porting over 3D World, despite the fact it would make Nintendo a boatload of money, and it's easier than developing completely new content for a game that they already ported over, being Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Now, why could they be doing this? I'm not 100% sure, but I do have one theory. It is that they don't want the sales of 3D World to interfere with Mario Maker. I think they're still even cutting it close by selling New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and then making a game where you can make your own levels just 6 months later. I think that's why they rushed that game out to release in January, because let's face it, Mario games don't normally release in January. That's kind of a weird month for that game. And I think that's also why they delayed the Direct until February. They wanted to keep the Super Mario Maker announcement held in until later, so everyone would buy the New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe game, because no one would buy it if they knew Mario Maker was coming. That just kind of defeats the purpose. So I think Nintendo's doing the same thing with 3D World. Maybe they're waiting until after Mario Maker, because even though you can't make 3D World levels in Mario Maker, you can give levels to 3D World graphics, but you can't make 3D World levels, if that makes sense. Maybe Nintendo just assumed people would get confused and they're holding back on announcing the port until a while after Mario Maker, or it just wasn't high on their priority list because they wanted to port over U Deluxe before Mario Maker, because that game you actually can make levels for, so it just wouldn't make sense. Whatever it is, it probably makes sense. I mean, Nintendo's a multi-million-dollar company. I'm sure they've thought over this a bit more than I have. It's just so weird. I know, as I said at the beginning, there are probably fans who are fans of the Mother series or really big F-Zero fans. I mean, I'm a big F-Zero fan, but die-hard F-Zero fans who are yeah, okay, well, quit complaining. It's not like Mario doesn't exist. Come join the club where we haven't gotten an installment since the Game Boy Advance or whatever. And while yeah, it's not like I'm suffering that much not having this game, and besides, it's not like the game's lost to time. I still have my Wii U. You just got to admit that it is very strange that Nintendo has been flirting with the idea and pretty much trying to advertise this game by using it as a theme in Mario Maker 2, adding in little Easter eggs in Super Mario Odyssey, and even porting over a spin-off of the game and giving that spin-off a lot of new content. However, they're yet to actually port over 3D World itself. It's a bizarre situation all around, and I'm sure it doesn't affect too many people. It just mainly affects me because I'm a massive 3D World fan. But oh well, I still feel the need to complain because it just bugs me. It rubs me the wrong way. Why? Whatever, I'm sure you guys are done with hearing me complain. This was kind of just a off-the-cuff video because this just really annoys me. But with that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. It's clear that I want 3D World to be ported, but what games do you want to see ported over? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new. I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop signing off. Peace.